Welcome to the lab for configuring continuous integration with DevOps services. After you've completed this lab, you should understand the following: how to fork a DevOps services project, how to configure and run the build and deploy pipeline, how to modify code in DevOps, how to push to trigger a pipeline, and test the app APIs with Postman. Now, I will not show every slide in the slide deck, so you might want to have it printed out or on a separate screen from the screen you're working in. However, I will state the step that we were on and come back to the slides from time to time. Let's get started. Okay, I'm on slide 3. We're going to fork a DevOps service project. So first, go to hub.jazz.net in IBM Bluemix DevOps Services. The link is in the slide deck, and I am there now. We're going to fork the project, which is up here on the right, and we're going to enter a project name. This is going to be a private project, so make sure that's checked. Make sure you add the features for Scrum development. And let's make this a Bluemix project. You're going to want to select your region. Mine's US South. You're going to want to select your organization and then select your space. Mine is Lab Recordings. Then go ahead and click Create. You should see a success message in just a minute. Up here, congratulations, you have successfully created your new project. We are now done with slide 3. Next, we're going to configure and run a build and deploy pipeline. In the slides, this starts on slide 4 and goes through slide 11. I'll mention the steps as we go along. Let's get started. First, create a build and deploy stage by clicking Build and Deploy. That's up here on the right. Next, click Add Stage. Step number 3, we're going to enter a stage name. Right here, my stage is highlighted. That's because it's waiting for a stage name. I'm going to call this Build Stage, or just Build. Now click on the Jobs tab, click Add Job, and we're going to select Build. Now down here under Builder Type, we're going to select Ant. This is Ant job that's going to be building this project. Go ahead and click Save. Now we're going to see this build in the pipeline, this build stage in this pipeline. Once it starts, there we go. So here's the pipeline, here's all the stages, and we have a build stage. Now let's click the Run, which is this little icon here. Let's click Run Stage. We should see the stage status changing right here. Right now, stage is running. Stage passed. Okay, I'm now on step 11. In the pipeline, we're going to click Add Stage. We're going to select a stage name. This time I'm going to call it Deploy. Now go to the Jobs tab. Now on step 14, we're going to click Add Job. This time we're going to select Deploy. Now we want to verify the following. We want to make sure the target is correct. This is US South, that is correct. The organization and the space needs to be correct. My organization and my space is correct. And the application name is correct. That all looks good. We're going to edit the deploy script. Add -p space JPBACKEND MSK template.war. Now click Save. We're on slide 9, step 19. You should see the deploy stage now in the pipeline. Now we're going to click the Run Stage icon, which is right here. See the stage status right here? It's changing. Its stage is queued right now. Now stage is running. When your deploy is complete, if you see this red here, means that it's not running. Now I found that there's a couple things you can do. One, you can rerun the stage to deploy again, or you can look at the logs and history to see what's going on, and then you can go to the community or to the documents to get some help. Even though mine says it's not running, in this case it is. I did check it. So what I'm going to do to show you is click the link right here, which is my devopslab1.mybluemix.net. That is my link to my deployed application. So I'm going to click that now. And there it is. This is my link, and we have a hello. That means it's running correctly. We're now going to test the app with Postman. We're on slide 11, and this section goes from slide 11 through slide 14. Let's get started. Back in our deployment, when we had this link that was created for us, make a copy of that because we're going to need that. Go to Postman, and we're going to paste this URL here. Now this is my URL for devslab1.mybluemix.net. Now remember, we're going to change the HTTP mode to post. We're going to go to the Bodies tab, change it to raw, and then we're going to add the JSON to login, which is user ID, admin, and password. And password is the password. Now at the URL, I forgot to add the following. API. So at the end of your URL, you copied in there, do /API/service/login. This is going to log us in for our next test. Now click Send. And down here you will see a successful. That meant that the login was successful. Now slide 13, step 7, we're going to change the URL. Instead of login, we're going to do search tips. And we're going to change the body raw data, the JSON down here, to be question. And our question is going to be about depression. Once you've got that changed, go ahead and click Send. And if it was successful, we should see down here some information about depression. This was a successful test in Postman. Okay, next we're going to modify DevOps and push and deploy. I'm on slides 15 and we're going to go through slide 18. Let's get started. First, go to Edit Code up here at the top. Your code loads. We're going to go to the left here and we're going to go to Source, COM, IBM, Bluemix, Mobile Starter Kit, Service. We're going to click on Service API.java. This is going to load this file into a text editor. Now go to line 36. Right now we're returning successful. I'm going to go ahead and change this to something new. Okay, when you're done, you can click Control S, or up here, go to File, and then Save, and that's going to save the file. Now, over on the left side here, we have the Git repository. Click this. Now you might have multiple files like I do that have changed, but go ahead and click the one that we're working on, which is serviceapi.java. Now if you click the drop down arrow next to the front of the name, it's going to show your changes. That looks right. Now let's go ahead and add a comment. Updated the success message. All right. Again, make sure that that file is checked because we're just committing the one file. Now hit commit. Now next, we're going to want to push this. This is on slide 17. Click the push button. Click the push button. And when you push this, this is automatically going to go to the server and it's going to kick off a build and the deploy. So go ahead and push this file. At the top, we see a success message. So that means the push was successful. Now let's go to build and deploy. Now you'll notice it's already kicked off. Right now the build says start running. And you'll see the build is running right now. You'll also notice the last input was by me, saying that I was the last one to make a change, and this is running. So it automatically started after we pushed our changes. And we'll also see build automatically start once and we'll also see deploy start once we see build is successful. So we now have a build 2. And deploy is going to kick off all by itself. You can see now that it's already queued. You can click run stage if you'd like, but right now it's already queued up and going to be started here shortly. And here we can see the stage is finally passed and build 2 is now been deployed. And if we click the link, again just to test that it's working, it should pop up and we should see hello again. There we go. Okay, I'm on slide 19. Next, we're going to test the modified app with Postman. So before we go to Postman, take the URL that you were testing with, make a copy of it. Okay, in Postman, paste your URL. And again, at the end of it, add API/service/login. Make sure we change the method, the HTTP method, to post. Go to the body. Make sure it's on raw. And we are going to set the username and password via JSON. User ID is admin. Password is password. All right, when you're done with that, go ahead and click send. Okay, the response here is the response that I modified the file to say. Instead of success, now it says success from DevOps. Now I am happy. On slide 21, let's recap. In this session, you learned how to fork a DevOps services project, configure and run the build and deploy pipeline, modify code in DevOps, push to trigger a pipeline, and test the app APIs by using Postman. That concludes our lab.